A lot of times, guys, right? It's very blocky, right? It's very block like. Yours got curves to it. Typically, feminine writing, handwriting. Curves. They're not up here, bro. Listen. I wouldn't say that in front of her.
Show me the curve. Where's the curve at? And the damn curve in there.
It got a little flow to it, bro.
Hey, if it ain't got flow, it's got to go, bro.
You gotta relax, me.
You gotta have flow, man.
We ain't got no.
If you ain't got flow,
we ain't got positive, bro.
Here we go.
This is the Lean Builders Hoots on the Ground podcast with absolutely, positively no bullshito. Join us as we dig into exactly what lean construction is and how we can use these concepts and strategies in the field. This podcast will be different as we journey to job sites and mine the minds of lean builders, all in effort to pass forward building knowledge from those who have put their time in to learn a better way. Because that's just what lean builders do.
What's up, y'all? Adam Hoots here. Lean Builder Podcast, Hoots on the Ground with no bullshito. I've got a really special guest with me today. Actually came live and in person with me in the office here. Mr. Gabe Lightner. Say what's up to the Lean Builder Nation.
What's up? How y'all doing?
That's it?
That's all I got, bro. Keep it
all
light,
right,
man.
Fair. I like it, man. You're going to be a little tough cookie to crumble here, huh?
Not at all, man. I'm going with it.
Hey, we just talked about this. If there's no flow, you got to go, right? We need... Listen, construction's about flow. Life's about flow. Yeah. Tell me I'm wrong.
I agree.
Yeah?
I agree, man. Oh, yeah.
No. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. You're right.
Man. Well, Gabe, I'm dying to hear from your perspective. Who is Gabriel Lightner?
Oh, man. I'll start off by saying a man of God, a father, a husband, a friend, a son, caring. I'm always looking to expound, very devoted, dedicated to what I have a mindset on. Really big on helping people, helping others, and kind of more introverted. I would say I'm very introverted. I'm a very curious guy.
Is this your first podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah? I like it.
I stay to myself, man.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You put me at the house.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, absolutely. You need to be pulled out of the house more because you got some wisdom that I'm dying to share with the world. Yeah, we're going to keep it between the lines here, but I mean, I've learned so much from you throughout my career. Watching you as an intern at Clemson, you know, you had a military career early on, right? I mean, I don't want to, like, who else is Gabe? Tell me, dive deeper for me.
I would say hardworking. I would say someone who kind of grew up with, I won't say the odds against me because I come from a two-parent home or whatnot, but tomorrow wouldn't be clear for me. A lot of obstacles, looking at my peers and their paths were a little bit more smooth. I would say mine, I had a lot more stumbling blocks and curveballs I had to adjust to, which was very humbling, I think was needed, because I'm a very confident guy, but I think humbling situations have a tendency to help you more appreciate things and more so like lean towards God through the process.
Yeah, you realize it's bigger than you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We've heard God a couple of times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man.
I mean, that's the ultimate player. That's the ultimate coach right there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, how did you find God? How did you find like this whole nother realm? And again, this is kind of, we're a builder podcast, but I think it's important to know who we are before we dive into any of these questions. How'd you find God? What does that look like from Gabe's perspective?
Man, that's a great question. That's a great question, Adam. God, growing up, I come from a pretty religious family. I recall going to church from my first memories, in life. But knowing God, I would say going through the unexplainable and actually making it, like miraculous things, I would say. It could be something, this is looking back and saying, whether it be middle school or elementary school, and something that you wonder why the bus was late, and then you come to find out, had it been on time, you would have gotten in a car accident. But I know this is not a whole church environment right here, man. But
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
he's in every environment, regardless of his church.
I love it, bro. I
He'll
agree.
be out on a job site, man. Hey, Jesus was a carpenter, right? As last time I checked, he was a builder too.
I
So
love it.
the ultimate lean builder, you heard it right here, Jesus Christ.
I'm not messing with you, bro.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, who's gonna do it more efficient than my man? That's just like bang, it's done, right?
Funny though.
I hear you like been through the unexplained. I heard.
Yeah.
I hear humbling experiences, but yet you still come out this like confident presence. Even from the first time I met you, I'll dive into this story real fast.
Boy.
This is good. So here I am on a job site at Clemson, and man, we're in the throes of it. And you remember what the job I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We brought a crew in to the last push at the end of the job, right? And we're all like working long hours, and we're actually being rewarded for that. And here comes the next class of interns, right? And there's Gabe's in the mix, and he walks in, and it's like, man, you locked eyes with Jimmy Butler, and this was like,
Yes.
you remember what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
This was really, really passionate because at first, and this is where you've caught me on a lot of like foot and mouth moments, and this was the first one, and this was the first time I ever met you. So here it is, right, in big old office in Clinton. We must have had 10,000 square feet, offices along the side, all the interns and engineers in the middle. In comes Gabe, the new intern class comes walking in, and you locked eyes with one of the guys who had been there for a few weeks, and you guys started taking off, like running at each other, and you like grasped each other, and you hugged, and man, like all of us construction guys were like, "Whoo, that's a little weird. Like, what's going on with like the new intern and the project engineer? Like, I don't know." But come to find out, again, foot in mouth moment. Like we're all like laughing, whatever. You guys had actually served together.
Yes, we Butler and I, when I first joined the military back in 06, and I came back from basic training to my unit, he was my squad leader. In 06, 07, so he known me since I was 19 years old. So we went to Afghanistan together in 2010, the whole year. So got home from Afghanistan the latter end of 2010, and he went to Clemson then. I went to Tech, and ended up deploying again. So mind you, hadn't seen him since Afghanistan. Wow. So it's 6 years. I done deployed, I done got married. My wife and I had a son, and I see this guy. Last time I saw him was when we got off the plane, when we landed back in the States. So to see him 6 years later on a project working for the same company as me, it's like just a shocking moment. I never thought I would see this guy, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially when you got you're serving, you got your life on the line together. You don't know what's going to happen there. That's man, appreciate your service, keeping us protected and safe, and allowing us to even be sitting here doing this podcast. So, and you still serve, right?
Yeah, I've been in maybe 16 years, man.
Man,
I know I'm getting old, bro.
Nah, you ain't got no grade.
Nah, no grade, but you keep paying them taxes, man.
Yeah,
that's how I get paid.
Hey, I'll gladly pay my taxes if we got a bunch of Gays out there looking out for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
Strong comeback.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think it's undervalued. Anytime we're in a crisis, anytime we call a national emergency, the first one to show up. It's a good transition. I guess tell the Lean Builder Nation, how do you serve the construction industry right now?
Right now, I'm serving as a project manager for a huge general contractor. I'm doing a lot of projects in Charlotte, but I would say how those two like kind of are relative. How the military lean, like how does it transition to the construction? Is what you're asking?
Yeah,
I would say one thing is hurry up, wait. So one thing in the military is kind of like hurry up.
No.
We gotta get this done. In the military, is you. It's always, I would say, you have to be able to adjust quickly. In the military, adjust quickly. It's gonna be long days. It's very stressful environments. A lot of times away from your family. So those sacrifices, I would say, reading, like just being in a managerial position now, being able to actually read my guys, getting to know my guys, know what's important to my guys. Because what they hold important, I hold important. Because I can't have a guy listen to me and be very responsive to what I'm saying if I don't take the things he take important. I have to value those things. So it's the same in the military. If I put his concerns as a priority in my life all on the list, then I can be very effective in how I talk to them, how I approach them, all that good stuff. So I think all that kind of like bounces off one another, military to construction.
How do you pull that stuff out of somebody though? Like, I mean, that's...
I would say observation. One of the biggest things. So we had something in the military called the NCO Creed. It's the non-commissioned officers Creed. Yeah. And one of the lines in the creed is, "I know my soldier, and I always place their needs above my own." So knowing that person, going out for lunch, hey man, how everything doing? Not just approaching them from a position of I'm an authoritative figure. Listen to me do this. Listen to me say this. Listen to my directives. Have the things kind of spread out, but I would say actually talk to him and be more personable. And being personable, he began to open up to me. So now he's not like, I'm working for this company. I'm not working for Gabe. I'm actually working with him. And I know his family, and I know how he's feeling. So he had a fight with his wife, so I understand why he's upset with me right now. But having that relationship helped me understand what he is. And you can kind of get the best out of somebody, you know?
Yeah, you find out what motivates them. You find out, yeah. That's right where my head went when you said that. It's like, yeah. How do you do it? You said you go to lunch with them, you ask them questions, you learn from them, you give them the opportunity to teach you something. Because learning doesn't always have to be technical, right? Like you don't know as a supervisor have to always be teaching somebody.
Yes.
You could actually be learning from somebody in that moment just the same. I love it, man. Just to echo it again, I have learned so much from you. Watching you and your career and the way you carry yourself, honestly, I would never have suspected that you've got all these things that you've been through and you've been overseas fighting with your life on the line a couple of different times because you move in silence, right? Like you like that's your perspective and you understand that others don't see it in such a way. That's powerful. I mean, you've got a lot of different perspective than what the typical industry sees. Help me understand what your impact is. If you had to define, like, man, Gabe is on this earth to make this impact, what does that look like?
Oh man, in a nutshell, I would say my impact. I hope I live a life in which leads people to God. One of the scriptures, my favorite scripture, I forgot what book it's in, but it says, "Let your light so shine that therefore a man may see your good works and glorify God which is in heaven." So someone living how they live should demonstrate or exemplify that there's something different about this person. I'm curious as to what motivates this guy. What's his drive? And when he find out the source of it is God. Then, hey, you know what? It's not me. It's not Gabriel. I'm not this great person. It's the God in me. It's not me. So hopefully everything, if I'm able to do anything in life, man, I think my purpose is to lead people to ask who God is, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. And I love it because that's how we started the podcast too, right?
Oh yeah, man.
I said, "Who is Gabe?" And you said, "A man of God." And then you said, "Husband." I could tell that was intentional. Miss Whitney's got like, she ain't listening.
She's
yeah.
Not playing, bro. Okay.
Hey, and Miss Whitney, Miss Brittany down there. If they ended that, why? You better be careful.
Exactly.
That's awesome. We better be men of God, or else we're gonna be seeing them real quick.
I love it. That's good. That's real good, man.
Oh my goodness. So your impact, drive people to God. Like you said something that was interesting to me. You said, tell me the verse. I'm curious the verse again because you said like, hey, I want to live a life that somebody's like interested. Like, ooh, what's he doing over there? Like, why is everything going good for him now? Like, and not knowing their experience. Like, what the verse again?
Oh, let your light so shine that man may see your good works and glorify God which is in heaven.
Yeah. So you've discovered your light is basically, hey, I want to drive people towards the Lord, towards God. How do you own that light? Like, how do you accept and receive that and then shine that to others? Like,
man, that leads me to another verse.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite verses. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy path." So that's how you do it. I mean, just understand that ask God to put a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I think King David wrote that in Psalms. But just asking him to order my steps, like knowing that I don't know anything, knowing that everything in which I put forth to do is an attempt to be more like him, or to follow his word. You know what I mean? So in doing that, kind of lines things up, man. Because we live here, man. You got temptation. Yeah, I mean,
it's
we
real.
married.
Let me say it.
When you marry, you can have a misunderstanding with your wife, but just actually humbling yourself. And that scripture says that in all thy ways acknowledge him, in all of them. So to me, that's humility also. Just knowing that it's not me. It's a greater being. It's a greater being, which is God. I'm not this person, because a lot of times when we get so self-absorbed, we put in a situation where we're humble. We hit stumbling blocks, all because we're trying to exalt ourselves, thinking we're this person, we're this entity that's infallible when we're not. So God put us in humbling positions. And typically when you're down, you're on your hands and knees and you ask him to help you up. So when you're up, hey, don't forget when you were down.
Yeah,
so
be gracious.
Man, I'm telling you, bro, because I'd have been there. Been there, man.
But I'll tell you, it's one thing, again, you don't even know this. I don't think you know this anyway, but there was one day I was talking to you and just, things on my side weren't the best of all, and you made a statement like, hey, if what you see in others who are closest to you is a direct reflection of yourself.
Facts.
And so, man, that hit me so hard. And there's a book called Leadership and Self-Deception by the Arbinger Institute. But it's basically like, hey, you got to look internal first. And understanding, like, there's a concept called the ladder of inference, where I got to pull a data that is my experience. And that's what I draw from. And that's how I see the world. But there's some, the unconscious bias out there, right? And so there's this charted territory of just because I see this world in one way, others don't see it in the same. And I think, again, what's drawn me to you and what's kind of made me, like, hey, what's he doing over there? Like, even from the first time as an intern when you're hugging Butler, right? Like, yeah, I mean, but that's it, right? Because I want to, like, you got to get to know somebody, and you ask a ton of amazing questions as well. I guess help me. Where'd your question game come from?
I would say, man, my pop, my grandfather. So I grew up in a small town, bro, very small town. So
Chester.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We on the map too.
Yeah.
Baby.
Your wife told me there was like 14 people there.
16. Since you want to do it, I was joking. Nah, but I'm from a very small town, bro. And grandparents helped raise. My parents raised me, but my grandparents stayed maybe a mile down the road.
Nice.
So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents.
It's a good influence.
To this day, my grandfather, he's 80. My best friend to this day, talk to him every single day.
Really?
He's my best friend.
Pop, you said?
Pop. I act just like him. I'm him over again. Yeah. But I would say, I think as to, I'm a why. So a lot of times when I listen, I don't necessarily listen to what somebody's saying. I listen to where they're going with it. That's how I listen. So, and if I see where you're going with it, kind of say this, a lot of times I could breaking it down,
understanding,
and fully understanding it, and it makes sense. You heard this. You heard the phrase, "The ends justifies the means."
Yeah,
quite sure you heard it before. That's a part of it, but just that's who I am naturally, man. My pop the same way. I have a son. He's 6. The same way, and it's scary. Just a very inquisitive person. Want to know why? Yeah,
it's something I keep going back to something you've taught me, and I don't know if you know this, but paying attention to words and actions.
Facts.
People are so intentional. If you just pay attention to the exact words that they're using, you can forecast where they're heading. For the most part, until you teach somebody that, and then they're like, and then they can flip the script on you and turn it over a different way. But man, that's awesome. So Pop, right?
That's my man. His name is Sammy Curtis McClurkin.
Sammy Curtis McClurkin.
That's my guy.
From Chester?
From Chester, man. Yeah. Stand up.
Is he still in Chester? Is he here?
Yeah, he's still in Chester.
Yeah. I want to bring him on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Bring him on. Yeah?
Dog, he has a wealth of wisdom.
I get Pop here because to be able to just extract that wisdom. I mean, you've been in the industry. You've seen these old school superintendents, and they got so much knowledge that how do you really dive in and teach that to somebody? And you say you're talking to Pop, once a day. I mean, those are the touch points. That's the only way you're able to pick up all those little nuggets.
That's true. I would say that it goes both ways, though, in saying that to teach someone something, they have to be in a position to teach. They have to be in a position to learn. You can have a whole classroom of people, right?
Oh, yeah.
And everybody in the classroom not making A's. It shows you how receptive they are, right? How receptive they are, how they comprehend things. Everyone don't comprehend things the same way, because I have siblings who have the same exposure I've had, but they're not like me. Not saying I'm above or beneath, but they're not like me because we think differently. I ask why. Why gives the reason. I have the reason. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't have the reason because they don't know the why.
The why is important.
Yeah.
It's the purpose behind something, right?
There you are. That's the reason.
I love to dive into the hows, the process. When I learn, okay, now I got the why. Where are we going to the how?
Operations, huh?
Yeah, that's really, yeah. But relational too. I mean, I still like. You said that earlier. Again, relationships are everything.
I will say this, and then as far as relationships, just marriage, man. Just marriage. Man, it helps a whole lot. Like we builders, right? We builders. It goes from design to actually putting something in place and actually having it used for its intended purposes, right? That's what we do. It's the same with relationships, man. Are you really sitting down before you go out there and you excavate and you dig? Are you sitting down thinking about this? And what's the effects of it? Because if you ain't thinking about the effects of it, if you don't fix it, you're going to chase it throughout the whole project. Same thing relationship. If I don't fix this issue, and a lot of the issues stems from like adolescence. I feel like I was neglected. I feel like I was rejected as a child, misunderstood, whatever. Now you get married. I think a lot of times we get married, we feel as if it's going to be the answer. When actually it's just the beginning.
Adding complexities.
Man, I'm telling you, it's a building thing, and sometimes you have to go back, tear down, or redesign. Even relationships, same as construction, and then begin to build back. One thing my pop says, man, Pop says everything's the same, just by different things. That's a pretty profound quote.
Yeah, say it again. Break it down for me.
Everything's the same, it's just about different things. So far as building, you're building something, you're designing it, you're actually going out there and putting it in place. It's the same thing in your mind as a relationship. You can have an image in your mind what you think it may be, or what you want it to be. But are you willing to put in the work to carry it out? That's still building. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So man, it all comes around full circle, man. Full circle. It's a beautiful thing, though.
But I hear you saying, and it's so true on job sites. We got this planning effort, and that's like, man, it's fun. It's like the honeymoon. Like, we're having a good time. We're getting to know each other. We're like trying to adjust, and you're gonna do this for me, and I'm gonna do this for you, and it's great and wonderful. And then it's like, okay, now we get to the field, and now it's time to execute, and now it's time to make some moves, and now it's like, it's time to like show up and talk and have these conversations that we're talking about, and you get shy, and you don't like want to come out there from a place where you actually care. You don't want to be vulnerable. You don't want to develop. I hear loud and clear. I mean, you see it all the time where teams are like, yeah, we can go start everything in the world, but what are we finishing? And the finishing part is that's the hard part.
That's the grind.
Yeah.
That's the grind.
So you're promising Pop going to get back on here. We're going to try.
I can't speak for him now.
No problem.
I can't speak for him, but I mentioned it to him.
Yeah.
This is great. That'd be great, man. That's my guy.
I'd love to just bring him on. Let's all three sit on the couch and just be like, hey, man, hit us with some wisdom, I got one for you. So I came up with this earlier, right? And you've kind of already been doing it, but I want you to enlighten us with some...
Oh my God. But I can't... Hey, I can't teach anyone anything. I can only make them think.
No, I don't want you... Yeah, that's what I'm after.
A quote. That's Plato. But just... It is. Plato said it, bro. You can't. But I don't wanna. How can I say this, man? On the spot, I'll go back to relationships. Really be insecure as to what it is you're doing. As a man, I preach this, bro. As a man, you're a husband.
Yeah.
Being married, I would say this. Being married exposes us. It exposes a man. I'm not saying what it does for a woman, but it exposes a man. So a man has to go back and think about it. I heard Bishop T.D. Jakes say this. I don't know if you heard of Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Yeah.
Amazing pastor out of Dallas, Texas, man.
Man, I got people in Dallas. I love it.
Oh, yeah, amazing pastor, my favorite. But one thing he said, I think about it. You being a husband, right? You going in and you're doing something you've never done before. Young girls at 2, 3, 4 years old, they're being taught how to baby doll, how to clean up house because they got house sets and that. They're meanwhile we playing with remote control cars and Tonka trucks, right? So we're not learning how to be a father. We're not learning how to interact as far as being a husband. We playing with Batman and Robin, right?
Yeah.
So just we grow up. We're taught at 5 years old. Hey, don't cry about that. Now this is Bishop T.D. Jakes. He got a video on this. We're taught not to cry about it. So we are emotionally. We may be 7 years old emotionally. Now we're getting married at 25, 26, 27. And we're 27 in body and years on earth, but we actually only 5, 6 years old emotionally. Because a lot of those things didn't develop. So when I say it exposes you, it all trickles down, man. You have got to get back to the pivot. And that's who you are. Get centered. Really take a look in the mirror as to who you are. Because one thing about it is, man, to be heard, you got to listen. You feel what I'm saying? So really sit down. Really sit down with yourself. Identify the issues, man, and approach it. And don't view things as if you have all the answers. Be accountable, man. And it's okay to be accountable. Hopefully everyone should be. It's okay to say I had a hand in the outcome being negative. A lot of people don't want to say that. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to say that.
Ownership is a tough thing.
It ain't coming. It's not coming, man.
Man, what I hear you talking about, and again, I love the shout out to T.D. Jakes and anybody else. Yeah,
I ain't met him, but
how do you tune into him?
Man, I get on YouTube.
YouTube.
I listen to a lot of his sermons, roughly an hour and a half. Yeah, man. But just he's extremely deep. To my wisdom. Oh
yeah.
My God.
That's where you're picking it all up, huh?
I ain't gonna say that. I can't say pick it up.
And Pop got it for you.
I can't say that. I mean, to God, but God got it for me. God bless me, because at the end of the day, I can tell you everything I know. You still can't beat me. I can't beat you.
Yeah.
So it ain't that. How can I say this? It ain't that someone's giving it to you. It's someone awakening something that's inside you. Right? Because I can't give somebody discipline. I can give you self-discipline. Yeah. You can be disciplined when I'm present.
Yeah.
But when I'm gone, it requires self-discipline. You see what I'm saying? That's two different, those are not synonymous. Those two different things. So ain't nobody giving it to me. They just pulling out what's in me. I'm building what's in me.
One side is accountability. When you're in front of me, I'm accountable to you. But to be accountable to myself and have the discipline that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do when I say, I mean, that's tough. And that's the whole planning versus execution side of things. When you're trying to develop the capability to really dive in there and get into it and be able to build and make things happen, you really got to, one, understand the plan, two, protect the plan. But then, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, when variation creeps into that plan, you got to deal with it immediately.
I completely agree. I think all of it goes stem back to one thing, knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Bro, you have got to know what you are. And I think people get so scary about who they are. If their father's a lawyer and they have church like their father, oh, I'm a lawyer, I can read, whether it be study philosophies, right? Study philosophies, understand this, then the third, they take pride in that, right? But that same father was alcoholic, right? Or he was very, what's the word for it? He was very philandering. Whatever it is,
disrespectful.
And for instance, that same young man has those same qualities as far as being philandering, but he can't look at himself. He can't look at himself in the mirror and say I have a problem as far as women, but he want to be prideful about the whole being a law thing. You can't pick and choose. This ain't a buffet, bro. You gotta embrace it and understand who you are, though. Yeah. Understand who you are.
How do you find that, though? Like, I mean, you gotta dig deep.
God, I'm gonna ask you this. This is me. God made us, right?
Yeah.
All right, so He's our manufacturer.
Yeah.
So who can tell you better as to who you are outside the person who made you?
He ain't give me the little manual that's supposed to come with the.
What do you think your Bible is?
Woo! Right here, I know
I
that's.
heard somebody say this before. Bible, right? I think I was in church. I might have been like 18. Bible. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. I heard that years ago.
Wow.
Write that down, right? Mind blowing, right? But I heard that years ago, man. So it's all in there, understanding it, and if you don't understand it, ask God to expand your mind and put it in a way in which you understand it. Because King James Version is difficult, can be difficult or challenging. But if maybe another version you need, maybe you need to sit on somebody else. Tutelage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people need a little experiential learning, you know?
That's rough too. That could be rough.
We gotta burn our finger before we say, man, is it hot? Oh yeah, it's
that ain't
hot.
you, is it? That ain't you, is it?
Not me. No, not this guy. No, I've never burned my finger. My finger is good. It's solid.
It sound good.
I'm the first one to burn my finger. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
It sound good, man.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm dying to know. I've been doing this with a bunch of folks that come on, and I've got some words that bother me. Believe it or not, the word lean is like, it makes me feel uncomfortable. The word culture, kind of like, ugh. Some of these words that are like really hard to define, I think, bother me. I'm curious what words or phrases really to get to Gabe. What are those things that are like, oh, nails on a chalkboard when I hear that?
I can't say nails to the chalkboard, but one word I think, I don't like people use it appropriately, is arrogant. That's a word that bothers me a little bit. Arrogant. People look at arrogance and cocky as if they're synonymous, and they're not by definition. Arrogance is to exaggerate one's characteristics or attributes. It's something like that. Google it, Merriam-Webster Dictionary, whatever.
Enlightener me.
Whatever. But that's arrogance. To say I'm more than what I am, that's arrogant. You're exaggerating who you are. To say I'm great and I'm great, that ain't arrogant.
Yeah, it's confident.
It's confident. But they go back to what I said previously. Acknowledge him in all thy ways. So it may be right, but is it righteous? It's not righteous. So you have to still point back and stay grounded and knowing who you are, being confident who you are. You are that. But listen, who gave you that? Because what you have can be taken from you by car accident. It can be something so small, stroke, whatever it is.
Downstairs.
Then who you are, what you thought you had, you don't have it anymore. And that's all in the hands of God, man, you know?
Man, yeah, who you are, being authentic, being 100% yourself. Yeah. Every time when you show up to a situation, like, hey, this is just what you get. It might be a flat bill. Like, that's how I love rolling up in a flat bill, man. People look at me and they're like,
that's you,
who's this guy?
That's who you are.
And I'm showing up who I am, really. This is the first one. All cleaned up.
Bro, you don't have that thing. Hey, man, be Rick Rawson.
I love it. Miami, baby. Wingstop. Lemon pepper my wings.
Man, I gotta have it.
Yeah.
I gotta have it, man. Whitney made some last week.
Did you?
I gotta have it. All facts, man. Got to.
Oh, man. Again, so the word arrogant, I guess.
I don't like the fact that it's misused.
But there's a balance here, right? Because I hear you talking about, hey, this is Gabe's impact, and you can own your impact. You know what you're good at. But what does that look like? Like you're a builder, right?
Okay.
Like, how do you balance the being arrogant with being confident?
Well, how you balance? Well, the arrogant part would be pretty much your line. You're not as good as you're saying you are. That's the arrogant part. Now, the confident part, whether it be right and righteous, is what your heart was when you said it.
That's deep.
How was your heart when you said that? You know what I mean? I can say, yeah, you know what? Have a nice day. And not be in the right place. Hey, man, you know what? Bro, have a nice day, man. Good seeing you.
Vulnerability, trust. You want some more? We got more.
I'm almost out, man. You got them on tap, though. It's all right.
Plenty more where that came from. All you can drink, baby.
You gotta relax, bro.
What the hell are we putting in this water?
Ain't nothing.
Well, so, man, I got so many ways I want to take it. I love, again, yeah. What questions do you got? If you had to hit, like you, again, all this wisdom you drop, I know you know how to.
Glory, bro. Yeah. I ain't nobody, man. I'm on who God allowed me to be.
Yeah.
That's facts. Yeah, that's facts. Man, nothing. As far as questions, bro. don't have questions. I say a statement.
Yeah, what you got? Is this gonna be the mic drop statement?
I don't know if it's mic. I mean, something I had to tell. You know, we all a work in progress, man. As you mature and go through this life, whether it be on the job, we in construction. Whether you be a project manager, project executive, all the way up to VP, whatever, right? Be as patient with your subordinates as your superiors were with you as you was coming through the ranks. Because I think a lot of times it's natural to gain knowledge and then look at others like, why you don't know that? As if you always had the knowledge. Just be patient, man. Be patient with people. Be patient. Be understanding. Because everybody gets things at different times. Everybody comprehension levels are different. Well, people are different when they learn things. Just be patient. Be more understanding. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to be forgiven, then be forgiving. You understand what I'm saying? Because you don't want somebody holding over your head. Don't hold over theirs. You feel what I'm saying? So I would say that. And I'm talking to myself as I'm saying this out loud, bro. Because I think a lot of times in life, we're so judgmental and so quick to try to compare as to where I am versus where he is. And where can I get the leg up on him? And it shouldn't be about that. It should be, how can I help him? You feel what I'm saying? Because somebody helped me. You feel what I'm saying? So that's it. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, how am I gonna build this person up? How am I gonna elevate this person? Because inevitably, when I elevate this person, when I make them feel like the most important person in the world, they're gonna bring me with them. And again, it's about elevating knowledge. Like all glory to God. You keep saying it, man. Devoted, you're confident, humble. You said something earlier that just is ringing in my ears. To be heard, you must listen.
Facts.
Is that a pop statement? Where'd you hear
that?
Nah,
I actually wrote that on Instagram like 2014.
I just went back and was looking through some of your LinkedIn stuff, man. You got them. Matter of fact, you got your phone. You do have your phone. Where's your phone? Pull your notes out, will you? Oh man, this is improv too. I hate because I got a little plan. We had a plan. This ain't on the plan, but we about to dive in. Take me to one of your notes. I don't know, man. Maybe
what you put on LinkedIn?
No, any of your notes. I mean, I'll dive into any of them, but take me to one that just talks about, like kind of sums up this whole thing. Like, hey, we've got to listen to our workers who are doing the work because they've got the ideas to make the work better. I mean, so if we're empowering the people, right, and we're putting the control, like giving up control, I might, have a plan for this podcast. We might have some form of like, these are the guardrails, Gabe. Mm-hmm. But man, we can crash into them. I want to hear the one of the most profound notes that you have.
Profound notes.
Whatever you got, whatever you want to toss at me.
Man, profound. It's kind of. Well, I pulled up one. Now, this is not me. This is Inky Johnson. So, you know Inky Johnson?
I don't. Tell me.
Inky Johnson was a cornerback, played for the University of Tennessee, right? And Inky Johnson went in to hit somebody, bro. Went in to hit somebody and paralyzed his whole, right side.
Oh, my goodness.
So, he doesn't have, I don't know, right or left side. Please forgive me. But he doesn't have any movement in one of his arms. Still to this day, but he's a motivational speaker. So one of the things in which he said, bro, he was, mind you, as far as a prospect, they were expecting him, they was projecting him to be in the first round pick as far as a cornerback, right? But he had a career-ending injury.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Playing at the University of Tennessee. But one of the things he said, stay committed. He said, commitment is staying true to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you have set it in has left. And so that's a mic drop. And I'll say, you know what? That's true, because a lot of times we seem so hype in life how we feel right now. You know what? New Year's just passed. I'm gonna get in the best shape of my life. December 31st, January 1st, I go to the gym. That soreness hit me on that Friday, bro, and I'm like, man, I'm good. I'm gonna rest this week right here, man. I'm gonna get back to it. But hey, you know what? A week ago, you were super committed and motivated. You gotta still continue to still be in that same spirit.
Yeah.
Mean it, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, but just I don't know, man. It's so many different things come to mind. There's a lot of things my pop has told me, man. One of the things my pop told me, I think is so profound. He said, son, know who you are and know who they are. You live a whole lot better with it. And that sounds so simple, but I think a lot of times, whether it be at work or even, especially marriage, I say marriage because marriage, your emotions are so tied in every single way in marriage. Physically, sexually, financially, mentally, spiritually. You are tied into every situation with your wife, right? Or your spouse, what have you. But I'm saying that, my pop's saying that, right? Know who you are, know who they are, you live a whole lot better with it. If I really sit down with them and understand who they are, my expectations of them probably would change. So I'm thinking about what I want them to do or what I want them to be. I'm not thinking about who they are. That's two different things. Change your ideologies. Get rid of those fallacies. And as you do that, things get better. And I think I heard, you talking about quotes, I heard a guy named Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You know what I mean? So that goes back to what I was just saying, man. I'm a quote guy too.
I love it, yeah.
Just
drop it.
That's one of the things, man, to God be glory. That's one of the things in which I think I try my best to think about, man. Like, take the me out of it. Stop being so selfish. It ain't about what I need. It's okay. What are they trying to tell me? It ain't about what I want them to tell me. What are they trying to tell me? So how you listen is different if you approach it that way. You feel what I'm saying?
I hear you loud and clear. You're saying it's not about me, and because it's not about me, I'm gonna look at me first to better understand how others. Like you said, it's such a counterintuitive concept, though. I mean, you like both quotes, Inky Johnson and Wayne Dyer, both of them were like, started with me and then you.
Yes.
And even Pop's quote. Say all three of those quotes. If
know who you are, know who they are.
Know who you are, then know who they are.
But think about
that. Was Pop.
That's the pivot. Like, and I'm saying that's the derivation. That is the origin.
Derivation.
The origin.
Okay.
The start. Calculus, whatever. But the start. The origin.
Okay.
Come on, man. Whatever. We all went to college. But the origin. Stop it. The origin, right? That's the origin. It starts here with you.
Yeah.
That's the derivation, bro. How can you go out into the world and expect something from the world when you don't know who you are?
Yeah.
Know who you are. Learn yourself better. Then you understand how others can look at you when you know who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just that's a lot, though. We always try to go get it. Bro, you better sit down. Because if you thought about who you are, you would know. We would know that our father hurt our feelings when we was younger. Our father maybe overlooked us, or we feel like he could have put more time in with us. Or maybe our mother didn't hug us long enough. Maybe you feel like you hugged your younger sibling longer. I mean, a little small issues you have. But knowing that, and I think the weight we put on what you are, you project.
What you are,
you project that. Yeah. What you think it'll be? What is it? Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Okay, I think he said, man, a person who thinks they can, and a person who thinks they can't, they both right.
Yeah.
I think he said that.
Yeah.
So you got it over there somewhere?
No, but I got this, which this is super personal to me. It's it talks about different language, and if you say you won't, if you say you can't, and that's the percentage that you're actually going to get there, right? So maybe not in front of Gabe.
I want to see it.
The chances of success, you could take it home with you if you want. I got a few of them. I had I'll tell you, John Toops is actually the guy that gave me. He sent me a bunch of these, so I've got a couple of them that I'll give to you, man. It's how we talk. I heard you broached on this earlier. I had a question, then you lost me. You juked me, and I went the wrong way. But you manifest things, right? Like the way you talk about something, it comes to reality. And so if you have that right faith, if you have that belief, if you have the understanding, if you look internal first, like that's how you're going to change everything else around you, is when you shift your mindset from a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset.
I look up I know the scripture by heart. I have difficulty sometimes knowing it. book and chapter. From the heart spring forth the issues of life. That scripture, you're saying that right now. What you think it is in here is what it's going to be. You're projecting it. You got to change this. It's internal, bro.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? You got to energy is everything. Physics taught us that. You know what I mean? So we really take heed to that, man.
Flow is everything. Whether you, and it's hard to spot flow sometimes. I guess we'll wrap it up. I tell you, Gabe, you continue to drop the wisdom. You're humble. You give all credit to someone else. The man, right? I've heard you say it, to God all glory. You know, Pop has taught you a ton. You're clearly diving into Inky Johnson and Wayne Johnson and like you inspire me. Your next level, no, you're good. You do things right. Like you do every little thing right, and that makes the big things right.
Thanks, man.
So,
it's with everybody. To think you got here alone, you'd be a fool. Anyone who thinks that is a fool. Because no one gets there alone.
Even if you got there alone, you didn't get there alone.
You didn't get there alone. Someone along the way helped you.
Yeah.
They say it takes a village to raise a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as me being that child, I'm going to give it back to the village. It ain't me, bro.
So what things are, like, how do you give it, like, what do you do? How do you give it back to the
recognition.
Well, let's recognize, like, who you...
I mean, my pop, whether it be recognition or whether it be showing appreciation, and I think a lot of times you do that through action and through life, right? Life practices. And like I was saying, let your light so shine. And man makes you good words. And glorify God which is in heaven. So it's practices, man.
Yeah.
Practicing. So just, that's how I do it. Through actions, man. Be different. You know what I mean? Go against the grain. Swim upstream sometimes. You feel
Do it careful, though, because, man...
I don't mean like that. I ain't talking about go out here and protest. I ain't talking about that.
Well,
I'm talking about...
If that's what it takes, I mean...
I'm saying that. What I'm getting at is daring to be different. I don't have to fit in. I think that's one of my posts. I posted the other day. One of the things I said was I wrote this back in like 2018. I'm only bringing this up. When I talk about how you show things, how you show appreciation, is understanding that even though we feel as if what we go through is only us, nobody else is going through, a lot of times we feel like that. Hey, you know what? Your story may be different, but it's a lot of people with similar stories. You know what I'm saying? Just understanding that, accepting that. And one of the things I was saying is, I said, I wrote this, how selfish are we? We give up so quickly, not thinking of those who quietly admire us. We lose our temperament when it was a great moment to illustrate class to those who don't know better. We follow trends when it's the opportunity to be different. Be selfless, even in the times when you don't feel thought of, because God is always present. Stay aware. And I wrote that back in 2018. And I actually sent that to a small group of people back in 2018 through text messages. Like, you had to really stand up.
Yeah, that's tough. Force. That's tough grinding.
Exactly. I said that I bet, even though people did things, somebody can do something to push a button or to get me to respond a certain kind of way. This is a time in which you can very well be an example. I can be an example. Hey, you know what? You don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. And I'm saying that it's all relative to me. But Jackie Robinson's story. You seen the movie too?
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson was not the best colored baseball player. No, that's not why he went to the MLB. He went to the MLB because they knew he was somebody who can actually endure and be the example to other chief.
Not fight back.
That's the thing. People miss that in his story. He could endure it. Not that he was the best one. He can endure it. So far as being the example, yeah, it was rough on you, but you paved the way for so many of those behind you. The force or the punch isn't as hard. You know what I mean? So just understanding that, man.
And it's the servant leadership, right? That's what lean builders do, is like, I'm going to serve, but I'm also going to lead you. Like, if we're in Afghanistan, like, I'm not going to be commanding the army from the back lines. No, we're up there, we're learning together, and we're figuring out as we go, and we're going to be there, and damn it, we're together. And then when I see you 10 years, hell yeah, I'm going to run and hug you and embrace you, because, man, we could have died together.
Facts.
Like, that's That's the real deal. And so I hear you talking all about servant leadership, being humble, giving it all to the Lord. I mean, the ultimate sacrifice. The God gave His Son. Like, you got a son, old buddy. I don't want to give my son.
That's true.
And you talk about the ultimate sacrifice. It's the words that we're using. It's the questions that we're asking. It's where are we getting our motivation from? Where are we pulling our inference? Where do we get our thoughts, our energy from? And you talk about flow and being humble and being vulnerable and being open and just being yourself. And man, that's, again, all those things are what drives me to you, the learning that you give me. And man, I am dying to meet Pop. I'm dying to get y'all back on here. We got to just, have good conversation about what does the next generation need to hear? What are those things that, man, the wisdom that Pop brings to you? How do we take that and spread that to all the new builders? I'm going to let you, man, take it from here. Whatever you got to say, because I trust whatever you're going to drop us with at the end here is going to help build our people. And that's one thing, man, love, care, and compassion, and people. Like, these are all things that I'm feeling just from your aurora in the room. And I know you're going to give the glory to God. You're going to give it to Pop. But, man, I want you to just take maybe a couple seconds before you answer my last question and just embrace it, because you're different, you're special, you think, you encourage others to think, and man, this world needs more Gabe Lightner. So man, drop it to us, man. What is it? What do we go out on? How do we drop the mic? What does that look like?
I would go off on stay open-minded. Stay open-minded. Don't feel as if you know everything. I'm gonna leave on a quote. One of my, I think it's called The Apology. Socrates said in The Apology, he said, "I'm better off than he, for he knows nothing and think that he knows. I neither know nor think that I know." So in other words, what he's saying is, I'm in a better position than these people here, than these guys here. Why? Because I don't think I know. They think they know. So when you think you know, it's kind of like if you ball your fist up, you're not receiving, you're not giving, because you feel like you have it. But if you don't think you know, your hand's wide open to receive what's coming, right? Put yourself in a position where you always have your hand open, always in a position to receive, and stay humble, man.
Keep your hands open.
Yeah, man, because when you feel like you know it all, man, they need to go ahead and start. You know what I'm saying, like packing your bags, man, and find a plot for you. You know what I mean? Go ahead and bury it.
You're done living, yeah.
If you feel like you got it all, you know it all, why you here?
Tell you, I always go to be the dumbest person in the room.
There we go.
Hey, I did it again. That's just what lean builders do, baby.
Get some.
Appreciate you, Gabe. Thanks for coming out, man. Yeah, enjoyed it. And next time, Pop's on.
Stay up.